until the New York State budget deadline, and pressure's building on the governor and state lawmakers to fight the troubling rise in crime. Some crime victims say bail reform is to blame, needs to be fixed, but the city controller and civil rights activists say the bail laws are not the reason for this spike in crime. News 4's Andrew Siff takes a look at both sides of a hotly contentious issue.
What we wanted to do was put some data on the table.
City Controller Brad Lander said the conclusion from his study of bail trends is clear. Only 4% of those arrested reoffend while waiting for their court date. In other words,
bail reform is not responsible for the increase in crime.
But other criminal justice analysts cite other data, including an NYPD figure showing rearrests for major crime up 27% this year. Says Hannah Myers from the Manhattan Institute.
These changes are having a public safety detrimental impact.
Caught in the middle is Governor Kathy Hochul, who didn't talk about bail today in Albany, but in a newly released op-ed today wrote, blaming bail reform for the increase in violence that cities across America are facing isn't fair and isn't supported by the data.
I'm formerly incarcerated. I served 16 years of my life in prison.
Andre Ward of the nonprofit Fortune Society, one of 20 groups urging the governor not to pursue the 10-point bail plan that emerged last week, which would add a dangerousness standard for some of those arrested, meaning bail in more cases.
There seems to be misinformation and fear-mongering relative to making bail reform the scapegoat for the increases in crime.
But if Hochul has a new stance today, she's already drawn jabs from her Democratic rivals in the governor's race.
The governor is treating crime like it's an afterthought. This 10-point plan of hers is not a plan at all. It's half-baked, it's phony.
Governor Hochul and so many others do not have the courage to push back on false narratives.
And it's the state legislature that has the final say. Democratic leader Michael Gianaris said Hochul's 10-point plan wasn't going to pass.
Much of the proposal is a non-starter for that reason.
Now advocates on all sides of the issue have only a week to make their case before the state budget is due. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.